ESPN. So let me this is fucking hilarious. Okay, so let me just read this article. Kirk said he might have resigned with the Minnesota Vikings last season had he known the Atlanta Falcons would draft a quarterback in the first round. For the first time publicly, the veteran opened up on his feelings about the Falcons taking Michael Penix with the eighth pick overall, 24 draft, and the episode Netflix quarterback. Okay, Kirk Cousins said he felt a little bit misled when the Falcons took Penix that high. Okay, listen to that. He felt misled when the Falcons took Penix that high. The Falcons had Kirk Cousins signed to a contract with $100 million guaranteed just a few weeks earlier, tabbing him as their quarterback for 2024. All right. Kirk Cousins said he was aware. Okay, this is where this whole alleged I was misled about it. He said Cousins said he was aware the Falcons might draft a quarterback. Yeah, okay, okay. I'm gonna get y'all comments, but I want you to read. I want you guys to listen as I read. Okay, he was aware the Falcons might draft a quarterback, but definitely not that high. He wasn't informed about the Penix pick until the phone call by offensive coordinator Zach Robinson while Atlanta was on the clock. Okay, this is his statement. Certainly, if I had the information around free agency, it certainly would have affected my decision, Kirk Cousins said on the first episode of the season. I had no reason, listen to this, I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we love it there. If both teams are going to be drafting a quarterback high, let me read that again, okay? So, because man, I think this is very important. I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we love it there if both teams are going to be drafting a quarterback high. But I've also learned in 12 years in this league that you're not entitled to anything. It's all about being able to earn your spot and prove yourself. Okay? Cousins appeared on the Falcons injury report only once after the hit. And we're talking about the hit where he said he got hit. And Cousins appeared on the Falcons injury report after a hit week 11 after that game, a loss at Denver Broncos. Cousins claimed he was 100%. The quarterback Cousins admitted he didn't want to sit and rest the arm, giving way to Penix because he wasn't sure if he'd get his job back. The information I had at the time, I made the best decision. Okay? Listen to this. The information I had at the time, I, you hear this? I made the best decision, Kirk Cousins. You also know that if you sit down week 10 and take 2 or 3 weeks or more to let it heal, you may never get your job back. Okay? Everybody follow me? Throw some red and blacks and some emojis in there. Throw some thumbs up or something. If y'all follow me. Okay? This is very important. You will never get your job back. You may never get your job back. I remember reading Drew Brees' book back in 2010 when he first wrote it. How he made the point that he tried to never let his backup see the field, even if it was somebody who was really no threat. Okay? This is his word, so I'm not making any of this up. He made the point that he tried to never let his backup see the field, even if it was somebody who was really no threat. Listen to this now. Like I said, follow. He just felt like you should never do that. Doug Flutie taught him that. So that was something I always was aware of. That in this league, if you give someone else a chance, if you want to get Wally pipped, whatever the hell that means, and there's Lou Gregg behind you. Okay, I'm fine. If Lou Gregg is behind you, that can happen at the time. The Falcons did eventually bench Kirk Cousins. Penix took over and played sorry and went 1-2 with the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, okay. So we're gonna go down a little bit further down this article. I'll pin it in the comments after I'm done, so you guys can read it for yourself. But this is his last. This is his quote. It hurts to go into work, but you got to be an adult. Kirk said about being bitch. You got to be a grown man and handle it with maturity. I feel sorry for myself, and it's hard to do, but that's what you got to do. And so that's kind of where my focus went. Y'all hear this? I wanna ask you guys a question because the sixth man, A.K. Styles, said all along. The sixth man, aka Mr. K Styles, said it all along. We've said it all along that nobody believes a damn thing that this piece of absolute garbage says. I told y'all, don't get so caught up in, oh, he's a Christian. This dude ain't no Christian. Real Christians don't lie and deceive, okay? They don't lie and deceive. We're talking about people that really believe that. He looked out for his fucking self. This was never about the team. You talking about you shouldn't have left. Hold on. Before I get into my points, I want to read you guys something. Okay. Middle Mill, that's the Stitcher Goofy Ass Down Award right here. Is a disgruntled baby mama. Hey man, Kirk Cousins was a very expensive smokescreen. If we didn't have him, people would probably jumped us for Penix. I mean, a lot of people didn't think the Falcons would do that. So I actually agree with that. If the Falcons did not sign Kirk Cousins, I don't think the Atlanta Falcons would have been able to get Michael Penix. I think it was a very smart idea for Terry Fontenot, and this is why I think he's an absolute genius, and the Falcons should not even think about trading this guy. I mean, firing this guy. Because it was a brilliant move. I don't think people realize how brilliant that was. That was a huge smoke screen. They would have never been able to get him at 8 if the Falcons, because teams know when in certain organizations they are in need for a quarterback, so they're willing to do certain things. So they'll try to jump ahead of a team because they know this team needs a quarterback. Well, the Falcons had already signed Kirk Cousins, so it was a brilliant move for Terry Fontenot to say, "All right, we got our guy, but this is the guy for our future, and I know we can get him if we pull this move." So what Terry Fontenot and those guys did in the front office, they gave the illusion that they weren't looking for a quarterback just so they can pick up the guy that they wanted all along, which was Michael Penix. So I wholeheartedly agree with you there, sir. So Georgia Texas boy said, "Why do you leave Minnesota?" Because look, we know why he did it. This is why this guy is such a fucking piece of absolute crap. He's a liar. This dude is a liar, and he continues to lie time and time again. He's doing is lying. He's trying to cover himself. If you had no reason to leave Minnesota, what the fuck did you leave for? You're a happy guy. They're paying you. You got guys like Justin Jefferson, Addison. Yo, you have talented for the offensive line, the offensive players, tight ends, running backs. You got a load of talent there, a load of good coaches there, and you telling me you had no reason to leave, but you left for what? Because the Falcons didn't have a receiver at the time. You had a young guy in Drake London. You had a young guy in Kyle Pitts, but they didn't have a valuable number two until they went out and signed Darnell Mooney.